Hey guys, Shuram here, and today I am going to be testing the Ducati Supersport S in multiplayer. Now I won this bike a while back and I said I would make a multiplayer video of it, so here you go. My rank is 1443 and my tuning is 010-010 with Pro Kits being 4443. I did not want to use Protex on this car because I'm saving them for the Hayabusa, which I am currently trying to win. And I will make a multiplayer video with that bike when I get it. So, this bike starts up decently fast, even without acceleration upgrade, slightly faster than an M2. But even at a rank this high, the M2 is still faster than this bike. I'm going about 250. He is going probably 255 at least, I want to say. And bikes cannot knock cars down. That is one problem with them. So this bike would be okay in multiplayer. I mean, its speed isn't all that great, but at least it's better than a lot of cars around this rank. It'd be okay if it weren't for the glitches and all the weird things it does every so often, as you'll see some of them in this video. It is a very unstable bike, one of the most unstable bikes in the game in my opinion. As you can see, it just randomly went to the wall there, and that wasn't a skid. The bike just turned randomly. You will see many more things like that throughout this video, and you will see why this bike was such a pain to win in its R&D a while back. Thankfully, the new bike, the Suzuki Hayabusa, is much more stable than this bike, which has a tendency to turn in random directions, as you'll see down here, and it caused yet another wreck, putting me into last place. But you can see that even though this bike is unstable and is slow for its rank, if you use it and you manage to just come up against cars that are not all that good in multiplayer, such as those two up ahead, which are the Evora Sport and the Lotus Exige, you can beat them. But even some other cars that you may be faster than, you will most likely not be able to beat because of this bike's problems. Now, coming up here, you'll see that I am faster than this car, and quite a bit faster actually, as I am catching up to him fairly quickly now, and here I almost landed on him, which would have been pretty neat since that is the only way a bike can knock down a car, by landing on it. So even with my mistakes, I have managed to come in second position, behind an M2 that is faster than this car even at this rank. So let's see what his rank was as well as the other cars. He was a 1459, and the other two were slightly higher as well. I ran an extra tank in all of these races to maybe make up for some of this bike's issues. So now we have a race in which I am facing a Camaro, a Miura, and another car which I do not remember. So it does start up faster than the Miura, but even though Miura is just as fast as this bike at this rank, or at least pretty close to it. And coming up here is another glitch. I went on the barrel roll slightly and it just turned me off to the side, and now I have fallen behind the two cars up there. Things like that will completely ruin your race. As you can see here, I mean, I was in first and now I'm behind these cars. And that Camaro nearly knocked me down. I'm kind of surprised he didn't actually. All those times when I touched those cars, I did not get knocked down. Coming up here, I was hoping I would be able to knock down this Camaro because he was going a little slower and I might have been able to land on him. But no! Bike randomly glitches again. And now I am in last. Yet again. So another somewhat bad trait about this bike is its supercharge doesn't actually give it quite as much of a speed boost as some of the other bikes. It only gives it 10 or less. The Hayabusa's speed boost from the supercharge is above 15. So I am slowly catching up to that Miura again because I am slightly faster than him, but just slightly, mind you. And the Camaro and that other car are now extremely far ahead. So I was pretty certain at this point I had no chances to beat them. Also, I'm going out on the beach in bikes, you'll see in my videos, because of all the ramps to give it the supercharged nitro, whatever you want to call it. I usually just call it purple nitro, so if you ever hear me say purple nitro in a video, I'm referring to the supercharged nitro bar on the bike, because I think it's actually called a focus meter, but calling it that is just weird in my opinion because most people are not going to know what you're talking about intuitively because it doesn't seem like it would be called that. So one of these cars wrecked. It was the Camaro. He's on the other side, so I was thinking, ooh, maybe here's my chance to overtake him. But since this bike is very glitchy, when the Camaro tries to knock me down here, wham! I randomly just kind of spin around, and then when trying to get back on track, wham! The Miura slaps me. And just like that, because of a glitch, I have gone from second place to last place. I would have probably gotten third had that glitch not happened. It's a sad, sad day when you finish last, behind a Miura. So let's see what these other cars were. There was 2 Camaros and a Miura. One of the Camaros was lower than me, but Camaros are just overpowered. So now we have a race on the very track that this car's cup was held on. And it was extremely difficult of a cup because of, again, the glitches of this bike. On the dirt, it kind of just goes crazy and goes off in a random direction almost. You'll see that coming up here. So in this race, we have 2 Camaros and an MP4-8, I believe. Now here, somehow I survive when this Camaro taps me from behind. It doesn't get knocked down that easily, but dirt just kind of makes it go off to the right there. That happened all the time in the cup for this bike on this track. Another bad trait of this bike, which you could not see in this video because my handling was at 0. When handling is maxed, it has drifting like the FXX in that it is so extremely sharp that going around almost any corner you're bound to wreck into the inside. And as you'll see coming up around these corners, with handling at 0, it is still a quite sharp drifter. It is really bad with handling at 10. And you cannot make this bike purple either, just like all the other bikes. Although you can choose the color of the biker's outfit as well as the color of the bike itself, so that's pretty neat. Now, coming up, that exact same thing that happened on the first lap with the dirt happens again. See, at the exact same place, it does the exact same thing and goes down in almost the exact same way. It's like there's a little dip in the road or something that makes this bike go crazy at that point. But I speculate that there may be some physical difference in Asphalt 8 somehow with the dirt versus the asphalt, because cars that skid tend to do it when the asphalt turns into the dirt, but I'm not exactly certain. So that car directly behind me, and now directly in front of me, is a Camaro. Now, around these corners, since I go faster, I'm able to do that, but bike randomly wrecks when I barely touch the wall, and thus the Camaro is able to get ahead. Had that not happened, I would likely have been able to beat a Camaro 2 laps on Nevada with a terrible bike. But the main thing about this bike that makes it so terrible, the glitches, prevented me from doing that. And he was a higher ranked Camaro with Dr. Illusion's tune as well. And here we have a Homage and another Camaro back there. This is going to go very well, I can already tell. Yeah. So the bike can get around those first corners very quickly, and as you can see, I'm quite far ahead because of its good acceleration. That is one good thing about the bike. Also, its nitro efficiency is quite good. But that car right behind me is the Homage that we saw at the beginning, who is already managing to pass me. But he goes down below because going up top may be slightly slower for him, and he still manages to get ahead of me. That is how slow this bike is compared to the Homage, who is actually a much higher ranked one, as you will see at the end, because matchmaking was extremely terrible in this race. That Homage is 142 rank above me. I'm not kidding. At this point I was wondering where the Camaro is. Then I saw him coming up fast behind me, about probably 55 miles per hour faster than how fast I'm going. This bike can reach just as fast with supercharge at this rank as the Hayabusa can go without supercharge at this rank. Yes, I am really saying a lot of bad things about this bike, but that's because, well, there's a lot of bad things to say about this bike. And driving it feels like a nightmare after driving the Hayabusa and most of the other bikes. And I've somehow managed to pass the Camaro. Passing a Camaro in a bike does not happen very often, especially one like this one. It was only because, though, he got slowed down a lot around those corners, and he's not managing to actually speed up a lot, which is kind of weird. But because this bike can't turn very well and it just kind of went left, I had to go down here, which gave me a big disadvantage because that Camaro was able to go the good way since he is stable, unlike this bike, and he manages to pass me. I think he may have tried to knock me down, and there was another glitch. I've lost count of how many times the bike has glitched during this video. So my general consensus on this bike, it is terrible in most cases. It is really only useful to get licenses from in its mastery. So if you did not win this bike, do not worry about it. You can get licenses elsewhere. It's really not worth it for how hard the R&D actually was. We've finished, and let's see what the ranks of those cars ahead of me were. So there was a 1452 Camaro and a 1585 Homage that we had to put up with. Thank you all for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt 8 content. Now let's all enjoy this final glitch.